I'm assuming that's me good to go. Hi there. Thank you for coming out today. My name is SJ. I'm an artist relations account manager at EmuBands. I'm very excited to talk to you guys about pitching today. So before we jump into things, I do want to just give you a bit of background about my company, because obviously before we can pitch music, it does need to be distributed. Whoopsies. So who exactly is EmuBands? We are a digital music distributor. We are based in Glasgow, founded in Glasgow in 2005. So we are an early player in the digital music game. So think back early days of iTunes, Napster, classic. Because of this, we have very long-standing positive relationships with our platform partners. This is shown through our Spotify preferred. Let me tell you, this term is definitely a tongue twister. Spotify preferred provider partner. There we go. So basically, what does that mean? It's a really fancy way of saying we have a strong relationship with Spotify, and our artists do get early access to beta features. If anything were to go wrong, we have a strong relationship with Spotify to get things corrected very, very quickly. Through us, you keep 100% of your rights, 100% of your royalties. It's a one-time upload fee. And then we are there not only to distribute, but to help you market it, and then most importantly, monetize. We work with a wide variety of artists across all genres, so many, many independent artists. We also work with a number of labels. But through us, you get to pick your own DSPs, choose your own release date. We offer fast distribution and regular royalty payouts. There is no tie-in. So if for whatever reason, let's say you got signed to a label and part of that includes a distribution aspect of the contract, you are welcome to come and go as you please. So in addition to our free tier, so you are more than welcome to join for free, we offer upgraded tiers for that added flexibility. If you're not simply looking for a DIY experience, but you want more of a boutique experience, we offer account managers like myself who are there to guide you throughout the process. So through EmuBands Pro and EmuBands Premium, you have access to some enhanced marketing features like pre-save campaigns or playlist pitching like everyone's here for today. I am more than happy to talk to you guys about this afterwards if anyone has any questions, but I'm mindful everyone's here for pitching. So as you get started, you'll create your account, choose your optional plan if you would like one, add a new release, and follow the steps on screen. You will need to have your finalized metadata, your mastered WAVs, and be confident with your artwork when you get started. We also want to consider whether or not we are going to stage this as a waterfall. So let's say you're releasing an EP. Are we dropping all 4, 5 tracks at the same time, or do we want to stagger this? And the reason why I mention this now is it's really important to consider going into the release, as waterfalls can help you maximize your playlist pitching opportunities while still giving each song its own spotlight and maintaining the momentum between releases. Also, from an analytics perspective, it puts you in a really good position with the editors. So keep this in mind. Waterfalls can benefit your analytics. So how long does it actually take? Well, the reality is that EmuBands is able to distribute releases within 1 business day. I never recommend uploading the day before your release. You will be stressed out of your mind. But also from a pitching perspective, it's simply not going to work. If you are going to be pitching to Spotify yourself, you'll want to be pitching to them at least 7 days prior to release date. This means that you end up on your fans' release radar, but the more time you can give editors, the better. I generally say about 2 weeks at least, but again, the more time, the better. Through EmuBands, we do ask for at least 4 weeks notice. That is because we are pitching to Spotify, Apple, Deezer, and Amazon. So we're taking the information that you tell us about yourself, about the track, and then we're crafting each pitch tailored to each platform. So Spotify is not going to have the standard cookie cutter pitch that Deezer is going to get. We're going to make sure it matches what the platforms are looking for. So just so we know, if you're looking at that, we're looking at uploading maybe 5 weeks before the release date. So you have distributed your music. You are going to want to claim your artist toolkits. Toolkits like Spotify for Artists are invaluable. I'll touch on that one a little bit more in details. But you'll have access to your streaming analytics, invaluable information about your audience, where they're based. But significantly, if you are playlisted, that will appear in your toolkits. Some platforms will alert you directly if you've been added, ideally on the release date. Sometimes that can be 2 or 3 weeks afterwards if the analytics are aligned. But if you want to know if you've been playlisted, this is where you need to look. So Spotify for Artists, I mentioned analytics can help boost us if we've not been picked up on day one. So through Spotify for Artists, you can pitch directly to editors. You'll get that nice little registered check mark, but there are also a number of tools. So there are free tools like Clips, Canvas, Countdown. So ways to make your profile look a little more cohesive. Sorry, I got a wee bit sidetracked there. But you can also customize it with things like artist playlists. So that is going to make you maybe add to your brand. You can connect a little bit more with your audience, and things like artist playlists can help keep the analytics on your profile, even if you don't have an active campaign going. They do offer some paid campaigns if your budget allows, such as Discovery Mode, that is a 30% commission, and then Marquee and Showcase. So these are going to be the ads that either fill up your entire screen or it's a banner at the top of your fan screens. But again, we're boosting the analytics. If you have the budget, I would very much recommend considering these bottom options for a waterfall campaign. Right, next we are going to actually pitch our track. So pitching is my favorite part of the job because I get to learn about you as the artist, and I get to learn about what's inspired your music. I find it quite personal, and the same way that you might feel a bit vulnerable talking about the track, that should kind of reflect in your pitch. I don't just want to hear that you have a really cool rock song that I should listen to when I'm driving late at night. What is special about your track? What makes it stand out? If it's on an album, what makes it better than any other track on that release? I also want to know a tiny bit about yourself as an artist. Platforms like Spotify, you do have access to the bio, so maybe we don't want to go super in depth with it. But I do not want you guys to forget about the marketing side. So when you're crafting this pitch, Spotify gives you 500 characters. It's not a lot, so you want to be really clever with your wording. But do you have any confirmed marketing in place? If your only marketing is, I'm pitching to Spotify, we're putting all of our eggs in one basket, and the editors do want to see more of a concerted effort. Especially if you're an editor at Apple, they might not be the most interested in what you're doing on Spotify. So with this in mind, the editors are going to get the track. You have invested loads of time, money, and effort into this. They'll be getting the pitch itself. That's where somebody like me or one of my colleagues who have many years of experience with pitching, we come in, and then your analytics. So as I mentioned, each toolkit will offer free tools, but in the lead up to the campaign, we can do other things to drive our fans to the platform. The reality is, at the end of the day, the editors want to know that your profile is being engaged with. You don't have to be a massive band. You can be a baby band, and I've seen people with their debut release be playlisted. There are playlists out there for everyone, and so you'll find your niche, but we need to have the right pitch in place to boost you across the finish line. And so if that is the case, these are some of our very recent wins. I would say probably in the last couple weeks, just a handful of them. But like I said, there are many playlists out there. Please don't limit yourself to Spotify if you're able to. Like I said, EmuBands we pitch to Spotify, Apple, Deezer, and Amazon. So the more playlists that you can get on, the more reach your music will have, and hopefully you can build a sustainable audience. So now what? We do want to create that exciting, engaging pre-release campaign. Like I mentioned, analytics are very powerful. So in the lead up to your release, pre-saves can be a really exciting way to not only alert your fans of the release coming up and ensure that it ends up in their libraries on the day of your release, but we can encourage them to your profiles in the meantime through redirecting them after the pre-save. So they've pre-saved your music, fabulous. That means day one of release, we're boosting those analytics. But if they're going directly to your Spotify, that's helping you in the meantime. What I would say with pre-saves is it's maybe not the most optimistic, but the reality is a lot of us don't have a great attention span. So when you are making social media posts and you're bigging it up, make sure to include call to actions. Don't just say, I have a release coming up. and you can pre-save it. No, say go to the link in my bio and pre-save it now. Or if it's a story, hyperlink it. Make it easy for them. Additionally, so maybe a bit of a cynical approach, but reward them. You know, I don't want to be rewarded necessarily in a month's time when I've forgotten that you have an album coming out. Is there anything that you can do in the moment? So for example, if I pre-save the new Low Raise song, could I maybe be my name thrown into a list to get free guesties? Like, is there anything we can do in the meantime to encourage people to actively pre-save? So now what? I've done loads and loads of work for my campaign. I really want to have a glass of wine. What else can I do? The other things we can do to boost those analytics and keep people on the pages longer are through adding lyrics to our release and adding motion artwork. Just like pre-saves, EmuBands can help with the motion artwork. So we're able to help you create the artwork for both Spotify and Apple, and we can even help you get it onto Apple. But as a very quick recap, I know that it's a short window to talk about something that I could talk about for ages, and my colleagues can vouch for that. EmuBands is a digital music distributor. We're early founders in the game. We offer one-time distribution fees and optional upgrade plans if you would like more of a boutique experience or even help with pitching. You get unlimited releases on EmuBands Premium. You keep 100% of your rights, 100% of your royalties, and we just want distribution to be simple. You have enough on your plate as it is. So yeah, if you are interested, please check us out. You're more than welcome to create a free account to just test out the platform, see what it's like. And you're also more than welcome to reach out to us and ask any questions. With that, does anyone have any questions about pitching? Because like I said, I genuinely could jabber on about this for like a solid 45 minutes. Oh, I think we've got a microphone coming over, if that's all right.
What if you're pitching to subscription service or streaming services that aren't the ones listed, like Qobuz or Tidal or any of those ones?
Yeah, so at the moment, EmuBands pitches to Spotify, Apple, Deezer, and Amazon. We are actively looking to expand that profile. But as an artist yourself, you can pitch to Spotify and Amazon. Spotify tends to be the most popular just because it's very easy to claim. What I would say is there are other trusted providers that you as an artist can go to. For example, EmuBands has a really strong relationship with Submit Hub. So you can always go through somebody like them, but I would be very weary of any other influencer or promotional service that's promising you spins or promising you a playlist placement. So if you claim your artist profiles, please use all of the tools at your disposal. But in terms of pitching, your distributor is going to be your best opportunity to reach directly to the platforms themselves. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay. Does anyone else have any questions about pitching, or even EmuBands in general? Hiya.
On. Okay, hi. Yeah, I was with EmuBands about maybe 20 years ago. I met Ali Gray, and it has to be said, he was the first guy that could get you on kind of like iTunes, which was pretty incredible at the time. But then I moved on to like a bigger company after about 6 releases, Believe Digital. My deal's up with them at the end of this month. So my question to you is, how many shops can you get a release in?
How many shops? What?
Yeah, how many stores? What's your sort of average? Because I might come back to you.
We currently distribute to more than 50 platforms.
50, yeah.
We have a business development manager floating about here, and I know
Okay.
she is working very hard to increase that number.
Okay.
But it is important to note we distribute all across the world. So you get to pick any and all platforms that you would like and any territories that you'd like.
Okay, thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Thanks. Sorry, this is a rookie question, but you know, with a pitch, is it more have you got more chance of getting on a playlist if your song already has some momentum? Like, you know, if it's got a lot of plays, or are there really good placements happening where it's just someone that's just knocked a track up, but it's a good track?
That's a good question. So ideally, your song would be playlisted day one. So essentially, you would be starting from scratch. If you're not picked up on day one, I would expect it hopefully to be in the weeks following release date. That's not to say people aren't playlisted a year down the line, 2 years down the line. It does happen, especially with things like social media and causing songs to go viral. But I would say generally it's shortly after your release goes live. So starting off strong and maintaining that momentum. Things like the waterfall can be really, really powerful in building the momentum. So it even showcases to the editors that you have a campaign in place and that you're able to keep the momentum going. Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much, guys. I'll be floating about all the rest of today and all day tomorrow. So if you have any other questions, please feel free to give me a shout.